Okay, hello viewers. This is Breeding Psychology X Plus. Today we'll be talking about rising above negative stereotypes. Rising above negative stereotypes. When you talk about stereotypes, psychologically speaking, it has to do with the way people perceive us at a particular point in time, either good or bad. Stereotypes are formed in the human society as a result of the way people perceive other individuals for one reason or the other in the human environment. And once a stereotype has been formed, it's always difficult to convince people otherwise. In most cases, people have stereotypes that are positive. For instance, somebody that dresses neatly may be called a good person. Somebody that is always prompt to work may be called an hardworking person. But when we talk about negative stereotypes, they are the unpalatable way in which people look at other people in the human society. And once a stereotype is formed, it's always very hard to correct that impression. Now, what is negative stereotypes? It has to do with the negative labels that people place on other individuals in the society as a result of social learning, as a result of psychological variables, may also be as a result of individual differences that people cannot interpret in the human society. Once a negative stereotype is being formed, people begin to relate with that person based on that perception. And as individuals who wants to be labeled positively, you have to understand the concept of stereotype in human facet. A lot of people have been rejected in the society because they are being perceived as terrorists. For instance, we discovered that in a global perspective, a lot of citizens from other countries are being denied visas to other countries of the world because they are perceived as troublesome set of people. In the story of the Bible, you discover that the story of the Good Samaritan, you discover that the Jews and the Samaritans, they don't mix because there was a stereotype, there was a negative stereotype with the Samaritans. But the story eventually told us that when there was a problem, there was somebody that was attacked, a Jew was attacked by a bandit. The person that eventually saved that Jew was a Samaritan who was supposed to be a bad person. So in the human society, psychologically speaking, people may misrepresent you as a result of one stereotype or the other. And it is our duty to correct that stereotype so that we can relate more in the human society. Now, why do we need to talk about stereotype? It's very, very important to talk about negative stereotypes because negative stereotypes can limit human progress. Whoever is labeled negatively may not advance in a particular society or in a particular setting because the is being perceived as a bad person. And some of the stereotypes that is common in the human society, we have seen stereotypes such as this person is a homebreaker, is a snitch, this person is good for nothing, this person is a failure, this person has bad luck, and these are a group of people, they are dangerous to the society because of their background variables. And what are the common causes of stereotypes? We talk about the background variables. Where an individual is born may be the cause of the stereotype. For instance, some people are born in war-torn areas, such as Congo Democratic Republic, and we saw that Somalia. And because they are born in this location, ordinarily speaking, when other people from other parts of the world, where there is less violence, sees this set of people, they term this set of people as violent people, which will not be correct. That's what we call fundamental attribution error. Negative stereotype is the major cause of fundamental attribution error. And when we talk about attribution error, it is looking at other people in a negative light that may not be true. For instance, there is a statement that says that men are not naturally bossy. Therefore, all men are bossy. The fact that one man is bossy, behaves like a boss, doesn't mean that all men are bossy in nature. It's a negative stereotype. And so when you talk about the causes, it could be racial bias, it could be past experiences, it could be repeated failures in life, it could be variation in the human personality. We discover that some people are just different. And because they are different, people perceive them as negative. And so when we discover that we are being labeled in a negative dimension, which has led to a particular stereotype, it's not for us to get annoyed. For instance, the person that labeled you or I negatively may be oblivious of who we are. And so the most important thing about dealing with negative stereotype is that the first thing we need to do, we must understand the reason for the stereotype. Where is the stereotype? What is the major cause of the stereotype? For instance, if your race is a major cause of of the stereotype that has been labeled on you, you must understand that you need to do something about that. For instance, there are some people from a particular race, they are known, for as fraudulent. And so the fact that one or two people from your race is fraudulent, may make other people to generalize. That's what we call hasty generalization. When it leads to hasty generalization, it is not your duty to fight the people generalizing. For instance, as a Nigerian, I know that all over the world, some people believe that Nigerians are fraudsters. It is not my duty to fight those opinions. It's my duty to correct the opinion. So the moment I understand the cause of the stereotype, it is my duty to act in a way that will correct that opinion. And so, what is the way forward? Number one, projection of your positive traits. Anytime you are struggling with negative stereotype, it's not the time for you to start arguing or to be showing to other people that you need to project your positive traits. For instance, in the world of work, let's say maybe your boss is terming you as a lazy person, maybe because you are naturally slow. I think the best thing to do is to improve yourself in a way that your boss will begin to see you in the positive light, so that they will know that you are not actually lazy. So projection. A lot of people have enormous potentials, but they don't project those potentials. Now you have to understand that in the society where we live in, you are not celebrated for your potentials. You are celebrated for the potential that solve human problem. And therefore, projection is very, very important in the correction of negative stereotypes. Number two, attainment of your full potentials. According to Stephen Covey, it makes us understand that there are 7 habits of highly effective people. And effective people, they reach their potentials. The moment you reach your full potentials, there is nobody that will label you negatively, because you are already a plus to the society. So attainment of your full potentials automatically eradicates what we call negative stereotypes. Number three, living a life of integrity. Let's assume that maybe because of your past mistakes, you are labeled as a thief. Maybe while growing up, because of your disadvantage, maybe you are born in a poor family and you stole to pay for your exam. And because of that, all your life, all the people that know your history, they call you a thief. It is not for you to fight them, because they have reasons to do that, because they have seen what you have done in the past. Now, because of the past experiences, you must understand that you need to live a life of integrity henceforth, that your integrity will now supersede your negativity, leading you to get out of that negative stereotype. Then we talk about the concept of social intelligence. Anytime we are being socially anytime we are being negatively stereotyped, you must understand that there is need for social intelligence. For instance, when you meet other people from other backgrounds that are not accepting you, you need to understand, what they love doing, how they do their things. The moment you start relating with them at their own level, it gets to a point whereby you are accepted. And once you are accepted, ordinarily speaking, the stereotype will be eradicated. There was one story of my friend, he's from a particular Yoruba group in Nigeria. And he discovered that he told me that he was not being accepted in his in-laws place because he was from a particular tribe. Because they believe that particular tribe, they don't take care of women. And he was able to, through his own behavior, on the long run, he was accepted because he was able to correct that impression, and that stereotype was eradicated, which was because it was not true. Also, we talk about spiritual intelligence. There are certain times that people look at you and they just don't like you, and you wonder. And when you ask questions and you discover that people have no reason for disliking you, then you should understand that maybe it is beyond the physical. So that's what we call spiritual intelligence. You need to go higher, spiritually, so that you can defeat that stereotype. This is Breeding Psychology Explores. In our next episode, we'll deal more about stereotypes. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Happy New Year. Thank you.